Hello everyone. In this clip we're going to rig some custom controls to control the facial animation of Smiley. Now why are we going to do this? Why can't we just use the expressions inputs or use this node? Or why can't we use the blend shape controller for to control the face? There are a number of answers. Mainly you can't key more than one of these at the same time, more than one target at the same time. Same thing here. I can't grab both of these. It only does one. It only does the first one that I've selected. Same thing here. So with that in mind, what we really want to do is we need to have a better way of controlling it. There are better ways to control this, and one of those is to put we're going to go to the front view, and we're going to put a NURBS circle in the scene, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees in X. And I'm going to raise this up like so, put it right above this, right above Smiley, and I'm going to call it Smile, S-I-M-L, and then I'm going to call it Face, C-T-R-L. Okay, I'm going to freeze transformations, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the COG, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key and grab the circle, and I'm going to point constrain this. I'm going to maintain offset, and I'm going to make the weight of 1, and I'm going to click Add. Okay, now what did we just do? Well, what we did is we now have that face control is going to work with the COG, but it doesn't rotate with the COG. Now, if I wanted it to rotate, I could always parent constrain it. That would work too. Now, this doesn't really look like a face, so let's make it look like a face. So I'm going to right click and choose CVs, control vertices, and I'm just going to make this kind of an egg shape. Doesn't have to look exactly like a face, but that'll work. And then I'm going to lock and hide all of these attributes, except for visibility. And of course, what we're going to do is we are going to SDK the visibility to ball type. So let's do that real fast too. Okay, we're going to go there, and we're going to go to Edit, Set Driven Key. This will be the driver. We'll go to COG, face control will be visibility, and COG control will be ball type, and that'll be the driver, and I'm going to click key. And now all I have to do is go back, step it to robot, go back to visibility, and turn that off. And key it. And I'm going to do that for every one of these. For bouncy, great, it's off, I'll just key it. And for arty, I will key it. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got our character, and what we want to do now is we're going to go ahead and put in some different control attributes. Expressions has some of these, and what we're going to do is we're going to use bidirectional controls. We're going to mouth neutral and wide mouth open are going to be basically the opposite sides of the coin. The frown and smile will be opposite sides of the coin. The scowl, right and left, are going to be opposite sides of, they're not going to be opposite sides of the coin, but what we're going to do is we're going to make separate right and left controls for this, and then blink and wide controls we're going to make separate for this as well. So we're going to go ahead and set those up. So I'm going to go to my add, I'm going to go to modify, add attribute, and now notice the default is 0. So I'm going to do something different on this time. This one, I'm going to call it mouth open, closed. And I'm just going to click add. I'm not going to give it a top or a bottom yet. And then I'm going to go to mouth, smile, frown. And I'll add that. And then I'll go to eyes, closed, open. I should say close and wide, because that's going to be the two. And I'm going to call it left. And then eyes, close, wide, right, add, and then we're going to go to brow, up, down, left, and I'm just going to copy it and then paste it, and then we'll just make this right. All right, so what have we done? Okay, so we've made these controllers with no with no limits. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to select all of these, and I'm going to go to Edit Attribute. Okay. And I've got all of these. And notice I've got the has minimum, has maximum. The minimum I'm just going to set to -10 and maximum of 10. This is a different way of doing it, but it works. And we don't have to do the same. It's a different way of setting up your controllers. If you do it the other way, there's no advantage to this. I just think this might be a little bit faster. And we don't have to worry about setting the default because it's already set for us. So -10 has maximum of 10. And same thing here. All right. And there we go. And so now these will do what they're supposed to do. Now, why are we doing the mouth open and close? Well, the mouth open and close is fairly simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to set this up. I'm going to do the set driven key, and the face control is going to be the driver. And now to get at the expression, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the head, and then I'm going to click on expressions, and I'm going to choose load driven. That's going to give me both of these, both of the things that have been selected. But I'm going to choose expressions. And here we go. So now I've got mouth neutral, and I've got mouth open. And that's going to be mouth open and close is going to be what drives that. I'm going to key it. Okay, so I'll go back to mouth open and closed. Now for open, it's going to go to -10, and this will be to 1. Now I can also kick this past. Go to 2. No, that's not going to work. Let's just do 1. 1 will work. And we'll key it. And we'll go back, go the opposite direction. And neutral doesn't really affect the face all that much. So even if we were to go over here to the channel box and say double up on the target weight and try 2, that actually is more of a frown, but we'll just call it neutral. And that basically cancels out the smile. Okay, and then we'll key it. All right, so now what we've done is we've got this first controller that does this and this. Awesome. All right, good. Now let's do smile and frown. So we're going to go to mouth, smile, and frown, and we're going to click mouth, smile, and mouth, frown. And we'll key them. Smile is -10, and we'll bring up smile. Now you can do that. Now let's see what double looks like. That's too much. But what about 1.2, let's say? Is that going past it too much? Yeah, probably a little bit. And keep in mind, you don't actually have to use the entire, maybe 0.7 would work. You don't have to use the entire blend shape. It's a good idea to, but you don't have to. So we'll go, and then we'll key it. And then we'll go back the other way. And we'll grab frown and do 1. Again, let's see what 1.3 looks like. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'll go with that. That works. So now we have these controllers going past that. Great. Now, the close and wide. This is going to be an interesting thing. We know that we have different groups that have been, we've got different geometry that's been keyed in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up, and then I'm going to change the geometry itself. So for the close and wide, obviously I'm going to choose blink. So I'm going to grab blink left, and I'm going to close and wide left, and I'm going to key it. So now under close, I'm going to drop that. And this is simple enough. I'm going to close my eye like so. Okay, there it closes. And I'm going to key it. Now to go wide, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way to 10. I'm going to go to expressions. Now here's where it gets neat. I'm going to type in -1. Whoa, that's pretty big. Too big? Well, I don't know. But let's try -0.5. All right, that's a little better. Here he's got some wide eyes, but notice the internal geometry doesn't work for this. So what that means is this geometry is not part of the eye blink. It is part of the eye blink target. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go back in and we're going to need to change this. But how we do that is going to be kind of counterintuitive. And so as a result, I'm going to save it for the next clip. And we're going to adjust this eye geometry and make it work with these negative blend shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, and we're going to cut this over to the next clip.